Hello all. In the past year or so, I've thrown out the idea of a Q&A video a few times, but never actually followed through with it. Since September was the last time that I really spoke to you directly about the channel and disorganized hurricane inside my own head, I figured it was about time. Before we get into that though, I wanted to let you know about a couple of things we've been working on behind the scenes. After being in limbo for a while, our official website is now alive and kicking, thanks in no small part to the tireless efforts of Defrosted Robot to get it going. The site aggregates and organizes pretty much everything from me and the channel that has been scattered over the web and across social media. We have all the videos handily organized, a store with all that sweet merch.
I sold out, baby!
Including a new Sisyphus-inspired logo design, and even an About section. Oh, and there's a section for audio commentaries I'll be recording with friends that you can purchase for $2. The first one, for the Buffy movie that I recorded with my friends Jack and Cal, is available for $1 right now until the end of the month to celebrate the site launch and our 5-year anniversary. Any and all proceeds go to supporting the channel and allowing me to eat, for which I am eternally grateful. Without people's generosity through Patreon and donations so far, none of this could happen. The website also has a calendar you can keep track of upcoming events, and speaking of, it's been far too long since Team Nerd let the wheels come off the bus, so this Saturday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we'll be watching Buffy, Angel, and Firefly and making bad decisions.
So that's why you should have unbuttoned the third button.
No, this is enough juice. And then on Monday the 19th, I'll be celebrating the channel's 5-year anniversary with a solo stream, watching videos with you from the past year and chatting with anyone who cares to show up to the stream. Hope to see you there. Now, Q&A.
I'm ready.
A number of you asked, how am I and how's full-time going?
I'm super! Thanks for asking!
In September, it will have been 1 year since I decided to quit my job and go full-time on YouTube. I'm planning on doing a full video dedicated to sharing this endeavor around then, but there is not a greater understatement than to say that the past year has been, challenging. I had aspirations to fire myself out of a cannon that first week and to fill this channel with content and different movies and shows and vlogs and interviews and Comic-Con presentations. Yeah. That didn't happen. Instead, I discovered that with the absence of a boss and other departments and coworkers and hard deadlines coming down from on high, it can be very difficult to get stuff done. Not only that, but I am prone to what I would conservatively describe as a raging firestorm of self-doubt and fear of failure. Sometime in early September, I completely stopped being able to sleep, and without sleep, I couldn't write. And then it became necessary to move, something I knew would happen, then a bit of a personal loss, and then just some hardcore rubber meets the road new habits that have needed to be built. In short, I discovered that if starting a business were easy, everyone would do it.
What is this, a lobster?
On the other hand, I have done some writing for the channel in the past year that I am the most proudest of. I think the videos have grown in scope and complexity, and I have finally been able to collaborate with other creators I admire, and I've been learning how to dance properly with some of those inner storms and demons I described. So, how am I doing?
I feel fine.
I look at the growth of the channel and myself and can see we're both better than we were a year ago, and I believe we can get things where I want to go. Tamara and Cullen on Facebook asked about the possibility of future top 10s. I have said before that I can't think of anything more boring to talk about than just my favorite episodes. I mean, once I say what my top 10 is, we're done. That's it. And can I even change my mind without an addendum video? I mean, the very thought is enough to give me heart palpitations. Which is why the 3 previous top 10s have been skewed around particular themes and ideas, because then we can endlessly turn the prism on the episodes and look for new connections and new sources of beauty. Those videos are also insanely time-consuming and generally mean a pause on the other content. Still, it has been far too long since the last, and I've wanted to do something for a while now on love or relationships in the Buffyverse. Tell you what, if the channel hits 50,000 subscribers, I'll start writing the next top 10. Several people asked what other shows or topics I'd like to cover, or other shows that influenced me in the way these have. Those questions go hand in hand, really. Given the enormous amount of work and time these videos can take, if I didn't have some kind of personal stake in it, I probably would have given up a long time ago. But Buffy changed my life, and the list of shows that have done that is not very long. There's probably a Star Trek The Next Generation or Avatar The Last Airbender video series in our future. Dollhouse didn't land for me the first time I watched it, but I think it fell victim to the same problem Firefly did, and that was Buffy's long shadow. There may be some talk of it in the future. I need to rewatch it. Might even take a stab at talking about Whedon's upcoming HBO series, The Nevers, on an episode-by-episode basis. After that, who knows? I don't fancy contemplating what my 60s will be like just yet. MetaMouse on YouTube asks, has reviewing changed your feelings about seasons or episodes? It's become a cliche now that having to write an essay about a particular episode almost without fail forces me to discover new love for it. Episodes that I considered middling or passable the first couple of times I ran through the series have now become some of my favorites in their respective seasons. Two that stand out for me are The Prodigal and I Only Have Eyes for You. I was also regularly surprised when writing about Buffy Season 4 at how much better it was than I remembered when I was just doing personal rewatches. The best videos on the channel are the ones where I found a personal connection to the material. When I find that, the essay clicks. It happened just recently with Are You Now or Have You Ever Been? I had been working on the essay for a few days, and the day I wanted to finish it, I suddenly made the mental connection the episode had to the concepts of redemption and forgiveness. Everything in that video, once the music starts, wasn't even a glimmer of an idea until the day I wanted to be done writing. But it's what makes that analysis personal and memorable. And when I don't find those emotional connections for myself, it leads to videos I wish had been better, like Hush. Speaking of which, you've all on Facebook and Bubsy Plays on YouTube both asked if there were episodes I was challenged by or ones upcoming. The really classic ones like Hush and mostly panned ones like Where the Wild Things Are the episodes that put my stomach in knots when I sit down to write about them. Writing successfully requires me shutting out anything but my own voice in my head, but I still feel a sense of needing to do the classics proper justice. And there's also no joy in trouncing any of them because I know there is always someone who liked an episode. And at the end of the day, I am as much a fan here to celebrate this thing we all love as I am a critic. God, I hate that word.
No, it's fair.
Kilner Rodriguez de Franca on Facebook asks, you did a really deep analysis on Restless. Are you planning to do something similar with The Weight of the World? Restless is a unique beast in the series, and so required a unique approach. But I think that doing away with the need for a particularly coherent plot, as well as any kind of inner logic from scene to scene, allowed Whedon to absolutely go banana pants with references and foreshadowing, which called for a banana pants episode guide. An episode with a more linear, grounded narrative, like Shan in LA or Primeval, doesn't afford the same opportunities for injected craziness, and so make for less complex videos. While there is no other episode like Restless, there are other episodes that are unique to the series, like The Body and Once More with Feeling, which also probably require a unique approach when writing about them, though I have no idea what that approach is just yet. Haley McDonald on Facebook asks, is there a novel or another piece of media that has really affected you to the point of altering your viewpoint or a decision you were trying to make? There are several passages in Norman Maclean's book A River Runs Through It on love and how to love certain kinds of people that have stuck with me most of my life. I've reread that book every few years and was excited that I got to do a reading of a few of those passages by request for someone on Patreon, linked in the top right and in the description. Pico on YouTube asks, there's a lot of academic writing on Buffy. I've been collecting some recently. Have you ever thought of making a reading list of particular essays you find interesting? Totally. Most everything I've read that influences one particular video or another is listed in that video's description. I really try and source. There's also a section on the new website called Suggested Reading, where I've tried to gather all those works together into one place with a short explanation of what each has meant to me. Full disclosure, of course, links there pop you out to Amazon, where a purchase keeps me in Totinos and wine boxes. Well, part of a wine box, really. Jay Hollenbeck on YouTube asks, if you could do absolutely anything for a living, what would it be? Jay, I'm doing it. Django Makepeace on Facebook asks, how has the growth of the channel affected you personally? And is it encouraging or daunting that so many people in the community look up to you as a content creator? For a long time, I found the channel growth kind of intimidating. I started doing videos on YouTube to practice voiceover work. Friends had been telling me for years I should do voiceover, but since I couldn't find a tried and true path for getting into that, I figured why don't I just start a YouTube channel and write a few things.
I am a vocal fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which for a few reasons...
At the end of that first video, I included an afterthought throw-in that I would make a quick skip guide to get people through Season 1, which was a challenging season for me. But the Buffy audience is a hungry one, and when I finished the first season, people were asking for the next 5 years later, and here we are. The channel, like the show that started it, has altered the trajectory of my life. And through all of the writing I've gotten to do and share, I understand myself more clearly than I have at any point ever. I can't really speak to the second part of your question. There is an aspect to the process that is intensely selfish in that the only experience I really have control over is my own. The only way the videos get done is for me to sit down and write something that I want to write, that I find entertaining, and that expresses my own perspective in a way that is fulfilling. That is the only success I can count on sustaining. The fact that the work matters to anyone else beyond me is a gift. Hannah Boyens on Twitter asks, how do you get yourself out of your own head and insecurities in order to create content? Hannah, as someone who spends way too much time in his own head, I deal with this question almost daily, hourly, on some days. The world often feels very much like a messy jumble spinning out of control to me, and an experience I despise is turning to someone and saying, oh my god, it's Thursday already? For me, making something is like dropping a marker in the stream of time. It slows things down and orients me in time and space. And the longer I go before I drop the next one, the more the spin comes back. But it forces me to grapple with my own fear of writing hot garbage or making a boring video or any other manifestation of failure. The only two approaches I've found to conquering that are first to try and get as much nonsense out of my head as possible and into a to-do list, to then plot those things on a calendar. The calendar is almost always wrong, but it's still better than that pile just existing in my head looking like a mountain impossible to climb. Then when I'm ready, I just grab the next to-do. And the second thing I try is to focus as much on this present moment in time as possible. I've brought up several times in videos the idea of the stories we carry with us, the ledger of all our past events we keep in our heads. Our fears are born in that ledger, and it's important to realize that that ledger is, if not altogether bullshit, at the very least, not real. The only thing real, the only thing actually occurring, is this moment, right now. So for now, take a deep breath, let the rest go, grab your keyboard, and start writing, damn it. Alright, this is getting long, so I'm gonna put the brakes on for now. Thank you so much, everyone who submitted questions, including everyone I wasn't able to get to. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of thing, have questions for future vids, and maybe we'll do another Q&A like this somewhere down the line. Don't forget, new website calendar with streams this coming Saturday and Monday. We've also been having a grand old time with our rewatch group at the $5 level over on Patreon. This month we're doing a double day with the prom and graduation days part 1 and 2. And speaking of Patreon, Jack and I are also going to be doing a big update this month with more band decisions, a new commentary track, readings, and all manner of shenanigans, so hop on over and have a look at the bonuses if you're interested. But please, remember, even just watching the video is support that makes all this possible. As always, I am grateful and honored. Here's to 5 years.